Welcome to the London Outlook for Monday, the 29th of January 2024. Starting off with the economic calendar as we usually do. As you can see, there's no high impact news events for today, so that won't bear any impact on our trading decisions for today. But yeah, I guess moving straight on to the daily chart, what we can see is that nothing really changed in terms of daily consecutive candle biases. There aren't any. Essentially, we had two bearish days thus far, and today is a question mark, so we'll have to wait for that, but nothing essential from the daily. From the 4 hour, in terms of market structure, it's the same as the previous week where we recently had the change of character, and now we're just waiting to validate if it's indeed a market structure break to continue and validate a bearish market trend, or is this just liquidity to then continue to the upside. Then moving on to order flow, what we can see is that the primary leg was validated right here with some substructure breaks in between. If we follow this, and at the moment we're reacting from two main OBs. One is this ProTrend unconfirmed OB, and the other is the primary ProTrend previously confirmed. If you recall from last week, why I'm calling this ProTrend previously confirmed is because the underlying confirmed trend is bullish, and whilst we haven't reacted to anything in particular to the left, we have validated through 4H order flow that demand has taken control on the 4 hour, which has created this primary leg right there. So at the moment we're reacting from two primary OBs, two 4H OBs that are of significance, but as you can see we're somewhat ranging between the two. In terms of the 15-minute, what we can see is that when we reacted to this ProTrend previously confirmed 4H OB, we created the secondary leg as a result of the reaction, and then from that point onwards we then reacted to this primary unmitigated 15-minute POI, which is part of the primary leg as a result of a reaction to this ProTrend unconfirmed 4H OB. Because of that, we then validated this new secondary leg, the short secondary leg, which then invalidated the long secondary leg, and as a result there's only reason to trade to the downside. However, because of the uncertain nature of the market structure and the narrative, what you will recall is me saying for the past week or so that in order for me to trade I need three things. The first being 4H backing for any idea, in which in this case we do have 4H backing for shorts and for longs. The second being a substructure target that is validated. We do have both of those. And the third being that we actually have internal range liquidity towards the intended target. However, this scenario that we're currently in is a bit unique because we're reacting to a 4H OB, which is still valid to trade from because the substructure target hasn't been reached. However, what this does mean is we can trade only if IRL is validated within the triangle range as a result of the reaction. I explained this in further detail last week, but I guess the gist of it is that once we react to a 4H OB, we can then target that reaction provided that we build a new leg and we have IRL to target on the way to this ultimate target right here, because once we get back and react to the unmitigated portion of the 4H OB, then we cannot trade against this barrier. Having said all of that, what I've said thus far is that there's reasons for shorting because of the secondary OB being valid, and there being no real reason to consider longs because the secondary OB has been invalidated. However, as you can see, we're missing a core requirement in that there is no IRL to the left at this point, with this being the last available IRL point before the extreme, and that has been taken right here. So there's nothing here, and if we look on the 5-minute, there's also nothing right here. So for those reasons, it doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense to trade, unless with our only option being that price retraces to this 15-minute areas or POIs that I would have traded from directly had they been available IRL. However, since there isn't any IRL available, I will wait for price to react to these 15-minute POIs and then look for 5-minute to validate that there's IRL built in this leg. In which case I can then use that to ultimately target this area or perhaps this Asia low. However, that remains to be seen. So I guess what is exactly my market outlook for the London session in particular? Well, I'm primarily looking for shorts, and I will only be focused on shorts if the following presents. One being that we actually get a um, we retrace in. So the first scenario would be that we retrace into this 15-minute POI and then validate IRL on the 5-minute. The second scenario would be that we actually reset this level right here by coming into a new primary leg and then building a new leg, in which case this will become the IRL. Um, yeah, that's pretty much all the options for shorting. In terms of longs, that's pretty easy. Once we reset this reaction point to the 4HOB, then shorts become invalid and we can validate a new secondary leg, at least until at least until we get back to this primary 15-minute unmitigated POI. So for the session, I think my primary focus is on shorts, but if we do reset, then my focus will shift from shorts to only longs, in which case there'll only be reason to long and there wouldn't be reason to short for quite some time, which will likely last into the New York session. Other than that, I hope you have a good London session and we'll talk again for the New York session.